What do I know? I'm just a girl on the internet. So we've been in this townhouse for 3 months now, and I would say we're mostly unpacked. I mean, we have all the essentials out. We have like a living room, a bedroom. We're good. But there obviously are still parts that need to be unpacked or worked on or organized like on the weekends when we have time. One of the things that I am tackling right now, and I was actually working on yesterday, is my closet. My boyfriend was kind enough to let me have the entirety of our closet in the primary bedroom. And I am working on trying to optimize the space because it's a standard closet, but it's pretty big. And I want to make sure that I am utilizing every inch of that closet because he was nice enough to move his stuff into the guest bedroom, which is also upstairs, so I can have the whole closet to myself. With that being said, I have been organizing it with bins. I've been going through things like boxes that I still have packed from the move, but also just stuff that I haven't touched in a long time. First of all, realizing I have so much stuff, which is obnoxious because I'm like, how does one person have this much stuff? But also, will I get rid of any sweatshirt that I own? No. Am I emotionally attached to all of my hoodies and sweatshirts? Also, yes. I'm not getting rid of those. Sorry, it's not happening. It's just not happening. As I'm organizing part of the closet last night, there's it has the basic wire rack at the top, the worst build of all time. And can I say something? Why do apartments and townhouses and new built houses, why do construction people think that that is the best and most optimal strategy for a closet? Because it simply is the worst. Wire rack closets are not practical. It does not give you any vertical space optimization. It is annoying. It's frustrating. It's just terrible. Closets need to be built with almost a bookcase structure and then have little rods in the middle to hang things up and then stackable. I need a rod at the top and a rod at the bottom so I can hang things on top of each other. I just really feel that we could do a lot better with closets, in my opinion. That's not where I was going with that. Where I was going with that is that in the closet, there's a rack, wire rack at the top, and in the corner is where Daphne likes to hang out. She originally started by crawling on top of the different bins that are up there and just made herself at home, which is fine and dandy and wonderful. But over time, I was like, oh my gosh, if she's gonna hang out up here, I might as well just put a super soft blanket up there for her. That way she has her own little cozy nook. So I've been organizing that. I have her little space up there and I've been moving some of her stuff. So last night I moved one of her little, it's not a cat tree, but it's kind of it's like a little cat hut. It has an opening and it's rounded and it has a flat bottom and it has that perforated cardboard on it. And I had moved it over by the window. Now, the gag is that I keep her little food dish in the windowsill. And cats love to climb and jump and everything. So it works out. I do that so my boyfriend's dog does not come and eat her food if it's within distance to the floor. So Daphne's food is up in a windowsill. Very easy for her to jump into, get off her cat tree and jump into whatever, super easy for her to get to. I had moved this little cat hut underneath the windowsill. So it was on the floor and then, halfway to the windowsill. And I fed her last night, put her little food in her dish on the windowsill as I normally do. And usually after I fill up her dish, she'll just jump into the windowsill and just start grazing on her food. I hear her munching on her food because I'm facing the bed and I'm working on some stuff and folding some clothes. And I hear her munching. But cat owners and pet owners, you just know, there are certain sounds that your pet makes, whether it's them walking into a room or their meows or their barks. You just know the sounds of your pet. So as she's eating, I'm like, why does it sound different? I don't know if it's the acoustics, if it's the way it's echoing, it just sounded different. I turn around and I kid you not. And for the video listeners, you're in for a treat because I have a photo for you. Audio listeners, good luck imagining this. I turn around and Daphne is on her hind legs and she is stretched up from the little cat hut to the top of the windowsill. She's got her front paws on the top of the windowsill and her hind legs on the top of the little cat hut. And she is elongated and standing vertically with her paws on the windowsill, eating her little food out of the bowl like this. She looked like this. I'm gonna put a picture right here for you. I tried so hard not to let out the loudest cackle of all time because that was the most ridiculous thing I've seen that cat do. And she does some crazy shit, okay? My phone wasn't in my hand, so I slowly like tried not to move a muscle. I was like moving very slowly, picked up my phone, and I literally just like held my phone. I didn't even look at her. I just like turned my phone and I was like, boink, took a photo, and I looked at it, and honest to God, I was cackling for like 5 minutes after that. And she kept going. The funny thing is she didn't even move. And usually like loud noises will startle her. So once I was like cackling like a goose, like I was like, oh, she's for sure gonna like hop down and whatever. But she kept going. And what's crazy about that is the food kept falling out. So like she wasn't really getting a lot of food in her mouth. So I literally had to like vertically pick her up and I put her in the windowsill. And I was like, Daff, babe, you can't, that's not gonna work. Like, but it was the most wholesome thing I'd ever seen. It made me laugh so hard. And it really just made me feel like, oh my God, it's like when a little kid does something like weird. You know, it's like when you're like, okay, when you're a little kid and you have like a Gatorade bottle and you have the little orange cap and you want to like put a little bit of the Gatorade in the cap and then you want to drink out of the cap. Like kids do weird stuff like that. Like we just do. In that moment when she was vertically standing and nibbling on her food, I know she just had like this little childish thought where she was like, what if I just ate my food standing up like this? Like it was just so precious. I love that stinking cat. She is so ridiculous. But that was genuinely like top 10 Daphne moments of all time. And if you don't know who Daphne is, guys, get into it. Okay, this is my cat. She's the best. Video watchers, I'm gonna put some pictures on the screen because she's so freaking, that's my girl right there. That's my girl. Only problem, her birthday is 9/11. Oh God, not the 9/11 birthday. Shit. Every 9/11, people are posting like sad in memory posts and we will not forget. And I'm like, happy birthday, Daphne. My sweet little girl, happy birthday. And then everyone else on the internet that day is just like not feeling it. I'm like, well, sorry, it's my little girl's birthday. Okay. She couldn't have waited a whole extra day. No, she said, let's come right now. Let's do that. So that's that. Daphne is my sweet girl. Adopted her at a cat cafe 2020, like right before the pandemic struck, which was totally unplanned. One of my best friends took me to this cat cafe that was in Charlotte for my birthday, which, can I just say that's an iconic birthday gift? Cat cafe in Charlotte, you can pet cats, you can sip coffee, and you can go for a half hour or an hour. And the price you pay to spend with the cats, they end up like absorbing it back into the cost that it basically requires to house the cats there and like work with the adoption agencies and everything. And we were just going simply to pet cats and have a good time. And of course we go in, it's like a Tuesday or something random. And usually at this cat cafe, because I follow them on Instagram, MacTabby Cat Cafe, if you want to follow them on Instagram, free shout out, love them. You don't even have to be in Charlotte, but if you just want to look at cute, adorable cats with amazing photography, MacTabby Cat Cafe, the best. But usually they have older cats up for adoption, obviously, because like everybody gets a kitten. It's always like the older cats that don't get as much love. We go in and I'm like overwhelmed and I'm like, there's so many cute cats. Oh my gosh. And of course I go in with the intention of just playing with the cats, having a good time. This one little kitten like runs right up to me and won't like leave my side, won't leave me alone, like wants me to play with her, all these things. And I remember the owner was there and she said, you know, all these cats are adoptable, which I actually didn't know. I didn't know that they were adoptable. I mean, it makes sense, but I was not thinking like, oh, they're up for adoption. I just thought like the cats live there or something. So when she said that, I was like, oh, okay, so I'm probably going to leave here with the cat today. It's not how that works. You do have to go through like a whole application process and all of this stuff. And then they have like an adoption night where anyone that is adopting a cat, everybody comes on the same night. So all those cats go and then they get like a new shipment of adoptable cats. And this cat, I just like, oh, I loved her. She was so little. And I always told myself like once I moved out on my own, I grew up having cats. Like when I moved out on my own, I was like, one day I'm going to go to an animal shelter and just adopt like a senior cat. Like that was my goal because senior cats are neglected. Everybody wants a freaking kitten. Like I wanted to give love to like some older cat. And it was not my intention at all to get this sweet little kitten, but she chose me and I couldn't not do this. And even the owner that was there, she was like, you know, we rarely get like shipments of kittens. We usually have like, you know, young to elder cats like available for adoption. So this is actually super rare that we have kittens. And there were 3 because there were 3 from the same litter. So she had 2 siblings that were there as well. And I was like, this is nuts. And then I remembered applying and I was so excited. I was like, I really want this little kitten. This will be so great for me. I'm so excited. And this is December of 2019. And ironically enough, the woman that owns the place, like as we were leaving and finishing the application process, when I was like so excited, I was like, I really hope I get her. Cause also I didn't know if I was the first in line, like applying for her, if I was like the 15th applicant for her, like I had no idea. She said something to me that has stuck with me to this day. And I have applied this logic to pretty much everything I do in this life, which is really crazy because the advice that she gave me was about adopting a cat, which I think is insane. But what she said was, if it's meant to be, it won't pass you by. And I was like, I'm obsessed with this quote. This will be my new personality for the foreseeable future. And I loved that quote and I really resonated with it. I believe I have a podcast episode titled, If It's Meant to Be, It Won't Pass You By. And I think I talked about that same story, but love that quote, love that interaction with her. And then like several weeks later, I get a call and they're like, the cat that you applied to adopt is going to be yours. And I was like, so exciting. So on January 1st, 2020, went to the cafe at like 6:00 at night and adopted her. They had like an adoption night where anyone that was getting a cat could pick up their cat. And it was lovely. And if you're interested in that, I did vlog that occasion. So that's on my YouTube channel, Kayla Nelson. It's adopting a kitten vlog. And I'm so glad I have that footage and I made that memory because it's just so wholesome and sweet. And she was just a little nugget. She was so little. I think she was like 3 months old, very, very little. And now she's just a big sassy girl and she's the sweetest and I love her. And if you want more Daphne content in your life, Instagram at Kayla, obviously, YouTube channel, Kayla Nelson. You can get all the Daphne content that you want because she's a girl's girl. And the audiences that watch my stuff love her. Like she has her own fan base. So get in on that. Daphne, love you, queen. You'll never see this, but love ya. Also, for the video viewers, you're having yourself quite the treat today. I've shown you multiple photos already. You're also getting a taste of this beautiful Taylor Swift shirt that I have. This was also something that I found cleaning out my closet yesterday. I forgot I had this gem of a t-shirt. Shout out to Etsy. The best custom t-shirts. The most ridiculous, best custom t-shirts you'll ever get. Etsy.com. Etsy.com. Like get you some of that. Okay. If you want to get yourself a cool niche shirt, do it. I have a shirt that has a raccoon on it and it says, I'm not like other girls, I'm worse. It's my favorite shirt. It's my favorite shirt. Bought in 2XL. I sleep in it. It's so comfy. I love it. But I got this. For those listening, it's a Taylor Swift shirt and it has like 7 or 8 different Taylor Swift heads floating in the middle from different eras and timelines. And there's like lightning bolts and things around her. So yeah, that's what we're working with today. That's what we're rocking with. Got a mini Diet Coke ready to go. I'm filming this podcast episode actually in the morning, which is rare for me. I prefer to record at night, but hey, it's not even morning. I lied. It's like noon, but that's what we're working with today. Mini Diet Coke can, beverage of the pod. Mini Diet Coke cans deserve more justice. I love a regular sized Diet Coke, but something about the minis, they're superior in my opinion. You know what? Something else that I would like to say, it's weighing very heavy on my heart right now. Where are all my sensitive skin baddies out there? I need my sensitive skin baddies to rise up. Raise your hand if you're a sensitive skin baddie. Raise your hand. Come on, raise it and be proud. Okay. You don't get enough credit. I don't get enough credit. The sensitive skin baddies of the world really have it so rough. Let me tell you. So 4th of July the other day, first of all, FDT, I was not celebrating the wonderful, amazing things that are happening in this country right now because unless you're living under a rock, the country is in the shithole right now. This country is falling apart in front of us. Horrible things are happening. People are being detained by ICE and awful, terrible things are happening in this country. And I can't really get into that right now, but we're not celebrating 4th of July for that reason. I was celebrating 4th of July with some close friends and my boyfriend, and all we did was grill some hamburgers and hot dogs and we went on the lake and that was it. I also had to work that day, so independence and freedom, who? I digress. Anyways, had a bathing suit on. It was a cute little airy, like it was like a corally red. It wasn't like patriotic red, but it was like a corally red. It was very cute. Put it on, first swimsuit of the season, whatever. And having a great time. So like one piece moment, I was like looking snatched. It was very cute. Put it on, had a great time, swam in the lake, did a little of this, a little of that. Come home, all is well. I got a teeny little sunburn, nothing crazy, just like top of my shoulders got a little red. Oh, and so last night I am getting ready for bed, and I am switching into my pajama shirt. Lift my armpits up, look in the mirror. Oh, I have a rash. I have a rash. Gross. And it's not like in my armpit. It's like the skin on the outside part of the armpit. So I was chafing in said bathing suit all day. All day. My skin was rubbed raw. Gross, disgusting. But guess what? Sensitive skin baddies get me. Y'all get me, okay? So uncomfortable. My skin felt like it was on fire. It was stinging so bad. I was literally laying in bed, arms over my shoulder like this. And I was laying next to my boyfriend. He's like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "No, I'm not okay. My armpits are burning. They are stinging and itching and burning. Okay, I can't do this right now." It was so uncomfortable. And then I lay there. POV, I'm laying in bed, arms overhead, airing out my armpits and the raw skin next to it. And I'm just laying there like having an inner monologue where I'm like, what would it be like to have normal, regular skin? I could wear any makeup I wanted, any perfumes, any sunscreens, and I could wear anything I want and never have a reaction. It would just be great. It would be fantastic. What must that be like? I'm laying there, arms up, armpits stinging. I feel like I'm getting electrically shocked in my armpit from the fucking chafing. What would it be like to have normal skin? That must be such a treat. Must be so nice. I'm rocking back and forth. It burns. I'm asking my boyfriend, will you blow on my armpits? No, I didn't do that. But it's just so frustrating. And if you know, you know. Since I was a young gal, I have had sensitive skin. I couldn't wear certain makeups, couldn't wear certain types of like sunscreens. Like it was just, everything makes me break out. I'm so freaking pale that anything makes me red. I get ingrown hairs. I get razor burn. The sun ultimately hates my skin. Like, tan who? I literally just turned red. It's just insane. Like if I try a new skincare product, I have to be so careful. If I try anything new, I have to be so careful. Getting my ears pierced was like a whole thing in itself. Like just, it's quite the endeavor to have sensitive skin. So if you are out there listening, if you are a sensitive skin baddie, I hear you, I feel you, I see you, you're not alone. And here's your reminder to put on some like non-comedogenic sensitive skin cream today, because you're probably going to need it, because I know you have some. I know you have some non-comedogenic sensitive skin cream, ointment, lotion. I know you have it. Don't lie. Don't lie. It's okay. Ointments are cool, okay? They're cool. It's helpful. They're cool. I don't know why, like the mid to early 2000s, there were so many ointment jokes on TV shows, but guess what? Ointments are cool. Okay, 2025, make ointments cool again. I would consider myself to be somebody who reflects on themselves, on life, on what's happening in life, what my relationships and what things that are happening around me, what they're like. I constantly want to be the better version of myself, not perfect, not the best, but just like the better version of myself. I want to be a good friend, a good sister, a good daughter, a good niece, a good coworker. Like I do aspire to be a good person overall, without it being fake, without it being performative. Like I just want to make sure like people in my life feel supported, or that they can rely on me, or whatever. And when I do these sort of self-reflections, like asking myself, am I being toxic in any way? Like, am I not supporting my friends in any way? Am I, in my personal relationship, like, am I doing anything that's like not helpful for my boyfriend? Like, I like to reflect a lot, because I don't want to be an asshole of a person. I don't want to be the person that it's like, oh God, Kayla's here. Oh my God, you invited Kayla. That sucks. That's so annoying. She's the worst. Like, I want to be the person that's like, no, we can rely on Kayla. We like having her around. We can rely on her. She's a good friend. She's good, whatever. So I frequently self-reflect. I like to just think like, how did I behave this week? How are my emotions this week? How did I interact in certain social situations? How was I at work? How was I at this outing? Like, whatever. I try to think. And something that really clicked in my head recently was just having a conversation with my boyfriend. We were just kind of talking about like work and things that needed to be done at the townhouse, and how if we're ever having a moment where one of us just feels a little off, because we have not fought yet, like we really don't fight about anything, like we really just talk things out, it clicked to me that communication is genuinely the key to life. It wasn't until him and I were really talking where it was like we were expressing our wants and needs with each other, what we could do for each other around the house or personally or whatever it was, just basic communication strategies. And in my moment of self-reflection where, again, I was thinking about myself and, am I supporting those that I love? Am I doing the right things? I was like, I think the reason I am pursuing as such a strong desire to be a better person and to be the better version of myself is because I'm good at communication. Now, not to say there aren't people out there that don't like me or don't vibe with me, and that's fine. I'm not trying to be everybody's best friend. I literally just had several episodes where I've talked about like you can stir the pot and you don't have to be the bigger person if people aren't being nice to you. Like I'm not about all that like fake nice bullshit. But I will say like the relationships that I have, the friendships that I have, the ability for me to work well in actual work situations is because I'm really good at communicating. And it really just clicked everything together. I was like, I feel that communication is such a vital part of existing, of relationships, of work, of conflict resolution, of everything. It is truly the foundation of everything. And then it just got me thinking, and then I was like, this is going to be a perfect podcast episode because, oh my God. First of all, I love to yap. It's no secret. And that's great. Sometimes I can sit here behind this microphone, I can talk to my friends, and I can yap about shit that doesn't matter. We can be making jokes, we can be talking gossip, we can be doing literally anything. But when it comes to like serious conversations or having a real heart to heart with somebody, I can also really lock in and I can do that. And I just really started reflecting on other people's relationships that I've seen or, friendships that have ended poorly or marriages that just have not gone well or, fights that people have or even like something at work. And I feel like so many of these situations that end up working out poorly are because of a lack of communication. And I went down this rabbit hole. I was doing some writing, reflecting, journaling, and I was like, I genuinely think if you feel like there's a moment in your life where you're like, this relationship is struggling, I'm having an issue with this, I really want you to like hone in and think about how you're communicating. What is your communication style? Do you feel like you're vocal enough to tell the person that you're dealing with your wants, your needs, your desires, what's happening, if you need help, if you don't need help, if you're overstepping, if they're overstepping? Like I really think that is a key thing in this life. And I will scream that from a soapbox. And I'm going to get personal for a second. I don't think it's fair for me to sit here and air out any dirty laundry in terms of what my parents' relationship was growing up. That's something that I talk about with my therapist a lot, and it goes from there. But I do want to share my experiences, and I feel like when I was brainstorming for this episode and thinking about communication, I thought of my parents, unfortunately. I love my parents, but I did not really love them together. And I am a child of parents who should have been divorced. And if that resonates with you, I hear you and I see you. Because there are plenty of children that are children of divorce, but then there's also a category of children of parents who should have been divorced. And I definitely fall into that category. My parents were great on their own. I think together there was a lot of tension and resentment, and things did not work out for the better because of their lack of communication. And it honestly takes a lot of emotional maturity to realize that, because at a very young age, I was put into a position where I had to mediate my parents and their arguments, and I had to be the peacekeeper of the family, and I had to be the reasonable one at like 9 years old, which, first of all, hey, not normal. Why do I have the emotional intelligence of like a 30-year-old at age 9? Why am I the one being like, do y'all hear yourselves right now arguing over something that is so arbitrary and stupid? Y'all don't hear this? Granted, at 9, I was not married with 2 kids, but still, there was a part of me as a kid that I was like, how do they not hear themselves and understand that they're arguing over something so dumb that is legitimately not even worth wasting your breath on? Like, it was a very humbling experience growing up. I lived in a house where there was no communication. And when there was, it was out of spite, or it was tit for tat, or it was some kind of an argument, because there was no hearing the other person. There was no seeing the other person. There was no putting yourself in the other person's shoe. There was always someone who wanted to one up the other person or say that I'm doing more and you're not doing anything, or, I demand this kind of respect and whatever. There was a lot of just not seeing eye to eye. And that was really challenging for me, because as a kid, you're like, I don't want to take sides. I don't want to be on one side of the parent. But I want you to both understand you're both doing fuck ass shit right now. You're both not hearing each other. You're not communicating. You're not understanding the other person's wants and needs and desires. And I feel that is largely where their relationship had a lot of issues. And as an adult, I can really see that. As a kid, I didn't really understand what it was that it was lacking. But looking back on it now and being in therapy and now being in a healthy relationship, I'm like, communication is a literal gold mine of a concept in a relationship. And that is so important. If you and your partner, if you and your friend, if you and your boss are not communicating with each other, you are guaranteed to have some kind of fallout, argument, assumption, something's going to be misconstrued. It's all going to just fall out of place if there is lack of communication. And I cannot stress that enough. I would almost like to argue that majority of relationships that don't work out are because of a lack of communication. And I get it. Some people cheat. There's infidelity. Some people, they just don't work out. But I still think the stem of all of that could be because of a lack of communication. Obviously, if your partner cheats, fuck them. That sucks. That's terrible. Cheating is never, ever, ever okay. But at its core, could it have been a miscommunication? I'm not saying there was a miscommunication and I accidentally slept with this girl. I'm not saying that. I'm saying at the core of it, somebody's wants or needs were not met because of a lack of communication. I'm not a counselor. I'm not a therapist. This is just my thought and opinion. Imagine your partner cheats on you. And in your head for the last 2 years, you've been thinking, we just aren't intimate anymore. I just feel like he's fallen out of love with me. There's really just no connection anymore. But you're not saying that. You're not saying to your partner, hey, I feel this way. There's no communication there, which ultimately potentially leads to that person wanting to cheat and making a poor decision because of lack of communication. That's just how I feel like I've seen things. I have heard personal experiences. I've heard people tell me about their failed relationships, or a friend of a friend, or whatever. And to me, again, I just feel like it really roots out of where was the communication. Again, under no circumstances is cheating okay, but I think in a situation like that, it's let's get to the very, very root cause of it. And it's was there communication? Were you talking to your partner about your wants, your needs? How do you feel fulfilled in a relationship? Are you feeling loved? Are you feeling supported? Is your love language being met? Oh my God, I could do a whole podcast episode on love language. Love language is an essential part of communication as well. If your partner is not into getting gifts or wearing jewelry or having lavish, nice things, why are you buying them stuff? Maybe your love language is gift giving, but you need to find a meet in the middle way. Maybe your partner likes quality time. That means you need to hang out, sit on the couch, phones off, either spend time just talking to each other, watching a movie, just being in the presence of one another. If your partner does not like to just receive gifts, they don't feel loved and validated that way, you got to figure something out. You got to figure something else out, because that's just not it. And it comes from proper communication. You say, hey, this is so nice. You're buying me these really beautiful necklaces and rings and all of these things. And I'm just, wow, that is so wonderful. But can I be honest with you? I really don't feel love from you in that way. I would love for you to save your money on that jewelry that you're buying me. And I'd rather you spend quality time with me, because that's my love language. I would feel so much more seen and loved by you if we just spent time together. And it's a whole communication thing. And again, I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to be ignorant, and I'm not going to say, well, if you guys just communicated, maybe you wouldn't have been divorced. Maybe if you just communicated, you guys wouldn't have broken up. I don't want to be ignorant. I understand the concept of how relationships work. I think if my parents were to have if they would have fixed their communication, I don't think that would have fixed their marriage. So I'm not going to sit here and just say that is going to be the fix all for everything. There are so many elements to relationships and friendships and your work environments and just general relationships with anybody in life that make it work, that make it run smoothly. It's not just communication. I just wanted to talk about the one fundamental layer of things running smoothly being communication. Again, there are a million running components and parts that make things work. So don't take it as like I'm sitting here and saying like that's like when people are like, well, your depression would just go away if you just like exercised. If you ever just exercise, eat well, you'll lose weight. If you ever just like exercise, your depression will go away. Like clearly that's not my style, but I am just genuinely shocked at how in my reflection and in my writing, I was like, communication is just so vital. I think about even my job in the hospital when there's miscommunication. I do physical therapy. I work with a patient and I go in the room and they're pissed off. The patient's pissed off. The family's pissed off, and I'm like, hey, like I'm with physical therapy. I probably can't fix, a problem maybe, but what's going on? Like, you want to talk about it with me? I can maybe, share your concerns with somebody that can handle it. Like, what's going on? Well, we're frustrated because this doctor came in and he talked about a procedure that I might be having, but then maybe not, but I have to get like this blood work, but they didn't say when. But then another doctor came in and said that they don't agree with that procedure. So I don't know if I'm actually going to have it. And then this other doctor came in with their nurse. And then they were talking about how they don't think the procedure makes sense at all. And they'd rather send me home and do it outpatient. And then my patient at the end of their fairly valid complaint is lack of communication. The 4 doctors involved in this patient's care did not communicate with each other. One doctor decided, hey, you should have this procedure, go tell the patient, leave them confused, make them NPO, and go forth. And then the other doctors involved in the care were like, hey, actually, we don't think that this procedure is going to be a good idea for this reason. So you leave the patient and their family feeling confused and frustrated because of lack of communication. Their anger is stemming from lack of communication and understanding. And I see that all the time. A million times have I treated a patient where that has been a frustrating factor. They're like, hey, my nurse told me this, but the doctor said something else, and then this. And there's always just some element of communication that is lost in translation. And again, someone who tries to be the peacekeeper, in that scenario, I'm very limited in my options in my job role, but the minimum I can do is just say, hey, I'm so sorry that you're frustrated. Like, that really is annoying. I can't imagine what that feels like to have to hear it from 10 different people and you're kind of just like in the middle and you have no say. I usually give them an example of like, hey, hospitals are the prime example of too many cooks in the kitchen. Everyone else is trying their best to get you feeling your best and everything being okay. And I'm really sorry there's miscommunication, but sometimes doctors are really quick to just jump in and not talk to the rest of the team before they get an idea in their head. So, I hope that they work this out and they come to a conclusion, but they should let you know once they come to that decision. And oftentimes patients just want to be heard. People just want to be heard and understood. And that is, I just think, so much of where issues come from, and lack of empathy and arguments and conflicts. It's like, you're not hearing me. You're not hearing my side, my perspective. You're not hearing it from my point of view. You're not listening to me. You're not communicating with me. And then it's awful when a communication turns into an argument. Like, nobody wants that to happen, because it is really frustrating when you're like, I just want to sit down and I want to have a conversation. And then your tone gets bad. You start getting loud. You want to argue. It becomes tit for tat. It's, well, you didn't do this. Well, I did this. You didn't do that. Well, I can't believe you said this about me. Well, you didn't do this and I had asked you to do this. It is such a messy thing. And I feel that so many issues spiral out of control because of that. And I feel that I have a strong suit in having very few fights with people in my life. Example, my best friend Logan and I, we've literally been friends since we were 6 years old. We've never had a fight. We've literally never had a fight. Of course, there's been moments where like we've been annoyed with each other or we didn't agree with something or something irritated the other person, but there has never been like a full-on fight. And I feel like it's because her and I are very similar. We just communicate like what we need. And it was very easy being best friends with her. And then when we lived together, as soon as we had the idea that we were going to live together, the amount of people that were like, don't live with your best friend. Do not live with your best friend. It's going to cause issues. You guys are going to have a falling out, blah, blah. Meanwhile, her and I lived together for 4 years and it was fine, like zero issues. And I find that so interesting because I then look at how my life has been and I'm like, I have not had big blowout fights with very many people. because I've been able to maintain my temper and my tone, and I've been able to just talk to somebody and let them know, hey, like, I'm not trying to attack you. I'm not trying to come at you in a negative way. I don't want you to take this wrong, but can I just let you know how I'm feeling from my perspective and let you know just how I'm feeling about this situation and where I think you could improve, or we could work together, or things could just, we could make this a little bit better for each other. And then I let the other person talk, and then we communicate, and then we solve the issue and we keep going. Like, it's always been so shocking to me when people are like, oh my God, me and my boyfriend are fighting again. Me and my coworker were fighting again. And again, I get it. There's a lot that is involved. It's not just simply communication. Like, there can be tensions. Maybe you have children involved. Maybe, you're at work and there's a lot of money on the line. Like, there are a lot of moving parts, and I understand that. But again, I still think one of the main root causes is a communication thing. It is how are you talking to this other person? And are they listening to you? Are you listening to them? Are you putting yourself in the other person's shoe? Like, it just goes so much deeper than just like you're pissed off at somebody or you're fighting. Like, ask yourself, where does that argument stem from? There's a misunderstanding. There's some kind of disconnect between the two of you. Like, there just is. The reason you're arguing is because someone didn't listen. Someone got the wrong information. They weren't listening fully. Something happened. You tell your husband, hey, I need you to go to the store. Here's a list. Get these 5 things. That's it. They come home. They get those 5 things. But the third thing on the list that was very, very specific, they got something totally different. And then you come back and you're frustrated. Maybe you spent all this time saying, hey, when you go to the store, I need you to get walnuts, but they need to be finely chopped walnuts, and they need to be unsalted, and they have to be organic, and they have to be this brand. They can't just be any walnuts, okay? Do you understand? And the husband goes, yeah, I understand. That's fine. Perfect. Got it. No big deal. He goes to the store. He gets all 5 things, but the walnuts are regular walnuts. They're whole walnuts. They're salted. They're not organic. They're not the brand that the wife asks for. I'm totally making this scenario up in my head, by the way. So he comes home. He's like, yeah, I did the grocery shopping. Easy, got all the things. My wife's happy. And she's like, what the hell? I specifically told you about these finely chopped organic walnuts, and you couldn't follow through. And now there's tension, and now there's an argument, and now the wife is heated, and then the guy feels very frustrated. Like, what do you mean? I just did this nice thing for you. I just did this thing for us. I was helpful, and you're pissed at me? Like, I'm never going to do anything ever again for you because clearly I can't do it right now. I'm a fuck up. And then if he decides to just blow it out of proportion and be like, well, I'm the worst. I suck. How about in that moment, like, this would be my vision. Like, in that moment, instead of the guy blowing it out of proportion and saying, I'm the worst. I suck. I've never done anything right in my life. I can't believe I'm a fuck up. I'm so stupid. God, I can't do anything right. Maybe that's his reaction. And then maybe the wife's reaction is, you never listen to me. I always ask you for simple things and you never listen. You just completely ignore me. You don't do anything. You don't care about anything. You don't do anything, blah, blah, blah. In that moment, instead of opening their mouths and maybe instinctually like wanting to say those things because you're frustrated, because you're pissed off, because whatever, in that moment, be like, the wife would go, hey, do you remember before you left, I asked you for these very specific walnuts. I needed them for this reason. And I thought you heard me, but maybe did you forget at the store, or did you not find them, or what happened? In that moment, before you let out the I'm pissed at you, I'm angry, you're a fuck up, I can't believe you did this, hold your tongue for just a moment and be like, how can I communicate this in a way that's not going to be an attack on the other person? And say those things. And maybe the husband will say, oh, you know what? I remember you saying that, but when I got to the store, I totally forgot. I got distracted. I went by the bakery. I saw fresh cookies, completely forgot. And I'm so sorry. How about this? How about I run back to the store and I go get exactly what you need? Actually, let me write it down in my phone. Let me write down the exact type of walnuts that you want so I don't forget it this time. And to me, I'm like, that sounds like it would be a problem solved. Again, there could be layers. There could be a lot more than just that. And it's not always that easy. But sometimes it can be that easy, but sometimes it really can be that easy. And I get it. If someone fucks up, maybe your initial reaction is like, God, I'm so annoyed. This sucks. I can't believe they didn't listen. I asked them for a simple task. Like, instead of just immediately wanting to just tear somebody down and just tell them all the things that they did wrong, communicate with them. Say, hey, what happened? Did I tell you the wrong thing? Did you not listen? Like, did you just forget? What's going on? Like, why is this mistake being made? What can I do to support you? Why did this happen? What would make you more successful next time? Because again, the walnut scenario, I literally just made up in my head, but I did see shit like that growing up. Hey, I need you to do this for me. Okay. The thing is done. Hey, so you did that wrong. Hey, so you did that wrong. I can't believe I asked you to do this thing. You did it wrong and it sucks and it's not the way I would have done it. Well, why did you ask me to do it? Then I'm never going to do it again. I'm so sorry. I can't believe that I fucked this up and I'm sorry that I suck. And I guess I'll just never help you ever again. And you can just do it yourself. Immediately turns into conflict. Immediately turns into tension that just does not need to be. It needs to be, hey, do you mind doing this for me? And if you wouldn't mind, I need it done slightly specifically, but as long as it gets done, I don't care. They do the thing and you come back and you say, I appreciate your help, but that didn't turn out the way that I wanted, but that's okay. I appreciate at least what you did, and move on. It's so easy, I think, in human nature. And I studied psychology basically in college. It was a prereq requirement to get into the world of physical therapy. I am in no means. I would love to study psychology more, actually. I think it'd be so interesting. But I feel like I have a good understanding of people and how humans work, working in healthcare, having worked in customer service, being around humans, and then just being very observant of the things around me, and also having a very early emotional intelligence at a very young age. I feel like I have a fairly decent understanding of how humans are, but I think it's very easy to immediately want to get frustrated or to yell at somebody or whatever. But if you really think about it, somewhere in all of that, something got lost in translation. And I think we're way too quick to just attack the other person or to get frustrated or to yell or to start an argument or to just, shut down instead of taking a moment, realizing the other person is human also. Anything could have happened, talking it out and just going on with life. Because the other thing is when it's these dumb things that you argue about or there is conflict or things that make somebody else frustrated, 9 times out of 10, they are stupid. They are stupid little petty things. Or at least that's how it was for me growing up. Seeing my parents argue about petty shit that I'm like, do you hear yourselves right now? Like, it's so not that serious. They were not arguing about, hey, how are we going to put food on the table? Hey, how are we going to keep this roof over our head? Hey, how are we going to get to work tomorrow? It was never serious. It was never life-altering serious things. It was, hey, I can't believe you left the cupboard door open. Hey, I can't believe you're putting a tall bottle of something on a tiny shelf in the refrigerator. Hey, why didn't you do your dishes? Like, it was never serious. So for that, I would say, why is there this disconnect? Why do we need to hold on to this anger, to the bitterness, to the frustration of something so fucking petty? I do not understand. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just the person that's like, you know what? I can't imagine giving that much of a shit over something that does not matter, that will not matter not only in 5 minutes, but in 10, in 20, in 24 hours, in 2 days, in 2 weeks, in a year. I could care less. There's very little that gets under my skin that I think about for years, okay? Life is too fucking short to be pissed off over something so minuscule and irrelevant that it doesn't matter. Like, if you are actually getting frustrated over that little shit, you need help. Genuinely, I mean that, because it's like, why is that going to eat you alive over something that happened? Like, I don't understand. I don't understand why you would be so frustrated that is something that you can't let go, and it is going to fill you up with rage and anger and disappointment, and you just can't leave it alone. That is such a sad life, in my opinion. I just don't understand why people hold on to that instead of thinking, how about this? How about instead of me getting pissed off and me bottling up all this emotion and getting frustrated, I just figure out a way to resolve this. I communicate with my partner or this person or the scenario in some way that will fix the situation or make things work. Crazy concept. I know, it's crazy. The other thing too is people lack empathy and compassion sometimes. And we are all living a life where we're very focused on ourselves and making things work for us and just going about the busy life that we have. And people often forget about putting themselves in somebody else's shoes. And just for 2 seconds, think about what's going on with them, what's going through their mind, what's happening. And instead, we're just so focused on ourselves that we can't, get out of that headspace to really just process or think about what somebody else is going through, or why they got angry, or why they blew up, or why this is happening. It's also incredibly frustrating to deal with other adults who just simply don't know how to communicate. I get it. There are people who are shy. There are people who are introverts. It's not that. It's for lack of trying. It's for lack of expressing what you need. Because here's the thing, and I think this is where so many people have their arguments and their fights with their friends or significant others. People can't read your mind. You can't get mad at your partner for not doing something or completing something or doing something for you if you don't speak up. You have to communicate with them in order to be heard. Like, yes, it's nice for your partner to spontaneously do something for you once in a while, like buy you flowers or get you a card or a gift or, take you out on a date. Like, those are great. Spontaneity is great. But otherwise, in a relationship, there still needs to be give and take, and there still needs to be communication, because your needs aren't going to get met if you just stay silent and then you huff and puff all the time because you're not getting your way, because you're not saying anything. Oh my God, I can't believe he didn't do this for me. Well, did you tell him that you wanted that thing? No, he should have just known. In what world is your significant other a mind reader? In what world is your significant other supposed to read your mind? That's insane. That's a stupid way for an argument to start. I'm mad at you because you didn't read my mind. You didn't think about me for what I was thinking that I wanted you to do for me. And now I'm mad at you. Do you hear that? Like, do you hear how insane that actually sounds? Nothing makes me more mad. Nothing makes me more mad. You cannot sit here. Oh my God, I'm gonna get fired up. You cannot sit here as an adult and get frustrated at somebody else because you didn't speak up. I'm sorry, you can't. If you are in a situation and you're arguing with a partner, you're arguing with a coworker, whatever it is, and you're like, you know what? I'm just so annoyed. I cannot believe they didn't do this for me. They didn't even think about me. They didn't consider me. They didn't do this very specific thing. Hey, did you ask? Hey, but did you ask them? Did you tell them that you needed this thing done? Did you express that something needed to happen, or that you wanted something, or that doing something would help you? Oh, no, you didn't. You just assumed that they would have done it and it would have been good for you. You assumed that they would just recognize that and it would be done and be fine. How about you just save all the drama? You save and avoid the confusion, the argument, the frustration, to say, hey, I need you to do this for me. And I get it. There are moments where you're like, I wish someone would just do this without being asked, without being told. And that's great. But that's not always real life. It's so much easier to just communicate it, tell the person what you want or what you need or what's on your mind, than keeping your fingers crossed and hoping that they might figure it out, that that's what you want. They might read your mind and figure it out. Why risk that? Why risk, oh, pretty please, fingers crossed, I hope they do this thing that I'm thinking of in my head, when you could just avoid whatever drama is going to come out of that, because they're not going to do it, and just tell them what you need. It's a crazy concept, I know. I get so frustrated when I hear people tell me about a relationship, a friendship, or whatever it is. And they're like, I am just so pissed off right now because my girlfriend didn't do this, or blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, that does suck. Did you tell her that you wanted this to happen? Or did you express that something needed to be done? Well, no, but she should have known. Come again? Like, that, to me, that is the most insane reason to be upset with somebody. That is the most insane reason. What are you talking about? How are you going to get mad at somebody because they didn't read your mind? What do you mean you're going to be frustrated because they didn't read your mind? That is not a legitimate fight. That is not a legitimate fight. That is not a legitimate reason to get angry or upset with somebody. If you're not telling them your wants and your needs, what are they supposed to just figure it? I've never understood that. And again, I have seen that. I grew up with that. I've had friends deal with that. I don't understand. And I'm going to be honest, that's on the person not communicating that. It is in no way the person who didn't do the thing that they were supposed to read the mind of the other person. That's on you for not communicating. That is on you for not communicating. I don't care. I don't care if you want your boyfriend to clean the entire house and wash the car and dust and cook dinner. If he didn't do it outright because you just thought he was going to read your mind and just magically make it happen and you're pissed off, you're in the wrong for that. You are so in the wrong for that. You should have said, hey, you know what I would love for you to do today? That would really make me happy if you clean the whole house, you clean the cars, and you made dinner. And then when it happens, you can live happily ever after and everything's great. And it got done and it's great. Or if there was miscommunication involved with it, talk it out. Talk it out! Be an adult! Please, be an adult. It's literally on you for not communicating. I in no way feel sorry for the other person that's getting yelled at for no reason because I witnessed that growing up. How are you going to get mad at me for something that you wanted but you did not communicate with me about? You're just supposed to be a mind reader? Like, that has no logic behind it, and that will never not piss me off. Fights that come out of assumption, arguments and fights that come out of, well, you should have known. You just should have done this for me. You know me better. Your boss is upset with you because you didn't finish a project that they assumed you were going to do. Hey, no, that sucks. Your boss calls you into their office and now you're getting yelled at because they assumed you were going to do something. You didn't talk about it. You didn't communicate. Why is your boss pissed off? Oh, because it didn't get done. Oh, but did they communicate that with you? Nope. They were under the assumption that you would just get it done because you're the good employee and you always go above and beyond and you always work hard. But this one time you didn't pick up that task, the one time you didn't do something free will and helped out, they're mad at you and you're being called in the office now for being a slacker. Fuck your boss. That's crazy. If there was no communication, if there was no discussion of what was to be done, that is not on you. Oh, that makes me so furious because it stems from a lack of communication. Point blank, period. It is not somebody else's responsibility to read your mind. It is not somebody else's responsibility to assume that they know what's going on in your head or assume that they're doing the right thing. You have to communicate. You know what? And here, I'm just going to say it. Give me your hands. Come here. Give me your hands. Give me your hands. I'm going to hold your hands when I say this. You are an adult. You need to start learning how to communicate with people, with your coworkers, with your friends, with your significant others, with like people you go on dates with your family members. You need to learn how to start communicating, telling people what you need, what you want, what you don't want, what would help you, what would not help you. You have to stop assuming they just know. I beg of you to think of any fight you've had in your life or any situation that fell apart. And I really want you to decode it and think about it and see if it came down to communication, because it probably did. It honestly probably did. Whether you realized it in the moment or not, it probably did. Probably did. And you know what? Communication gets so much easier over time when you keep practicing it. When you have healthy communication, when you get good at it, when you really are reaching out to people. Hey, is there anything I can do for you? Can I help you with anything? Hey, actually, it'd be really helpful if you did this for me. That's what makes the world fucking go round. My God. Next time you feel like there's a fight getting building with you and your partner, or you and your friend, for 2 seconds, reevaluate the situation and make sure you've talked it all out. Have you really expressed what's going on, or what your stance is, or what your take is, or what your needs are in this situation? Are your needs being met? Is this person hearing you? Can they tell you back? Like, you have a whole conversation, you say, do you mind just can you reiterate to me what you just heard from that? Like, do you actually, and you don't have to say it like a smart ass. It can be really easy to be like, do you understand? But sometimes it's, do you understand in a productive way? Like, do you understand what I'm asking or I'm saying? Like, it is hard to say that without sounding smartassy or like with a tone. Do you understand? But there is a moment where you're like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, do you understand like what I'm asking of you? Like, off, like totally non-resentful right now. Like, do you actually get what I'm asking you? It's really not that complicated. People just don't want to do it. People would rather be pissed off and huff and puff and sit next to their partner and be mad and go to bed mad and wake up mad than just talking it out. My God. And I get it. I fucking get it. I know there are people out there too that suck. You try to have a conversation with them. You try to go to couples therapy. And they just shut down. And those people exist and they're real and they're the worst. And they probably need to be therapized for other things in their life. And they should have gone to therapy at a young age. Because no matter how much you try sometimes that other person is just stuck in their ways and they're like, I don't need to communicate. I'm fine. I'm doing everything right. Everything's fine. I'm doing everything right. Everything's great. Everything. Hey, that's a narcissist, by the way. I have a whole podcast on narcissists too, and I could probably do 5 more episodes on narcissists. But if you're at least trying, that's what matters. If you try to go to couples therapy and say like, we're just not getting along, we're not communicating, and your partner just shuts down and they play the victim and they just point the finger, then maybe it's just not meant to be. And some people can't be fixed at a certain point. Some people really cannot be fixed at a certain point. But if you're trying, that's what matters. Okay. And it's still so much easier to at least attempt to tell somebody what you want. And then you notice a pattern. Are you constantly, day after day, week after week, month after month, are you telling your spouse what you need and they're just not listening to you? Maybe they don't love you anymore. Maybe they don't love you like you thought they did. Or maybe they just suck as a human being and they are unwilling to change. It could very well be that. Because sometimes you do backflips for people and you go out of your way to communicate. You go out of your way to support and be there and attempt to try to communicate, to just connect on some level. And that person just shuts down or they close you out. They don't want to be a part of it. They don't accept the change. They don't try to become better. They don't adapt. They don't listen to you. And sometimes it can be exhausting to keep trying and nothing changes. But as long as you've made the effort to at least try, you have something to fight for. Because at that point, it's like, hey, we don't need to be together anymore. Or hey, this isn't going to work. Or hey, I can't be with you unless you change. At least you're trying. At least you're giving it a solid attempt. But I recommend that. I went on a soapbox, but it is just something that I really feel so closely in my heart about. And I wish more people really took time to communicate with other people. And I feel like it would solve so many more problems. Like, don't keep secrets, don't lie, don't hide things, don't, assume one thing or the other. Don't just, have a imaginary conversation in your head and a dialogue in your head about something. Have a conversation. Discuss, sit down with your best friend or text your best friend or FaceTime them or sit down with your partner at the end of the week and just be like, how was your week? Do you feel supported? My boyfriend and I do that. And I love that we do that. And that's something that I initiated like early on in our relationship because we were long distance. Long distance relationships quite literally thrive on communication because you're not physically seeing each other in person. So that was something I started out with Christopher and I very early on. I was like, we'd FaceTime, it'd be the end of the week. I'd be like, how are you feeling? Do you feel supported by me in this relationship? Because we're long distance, is there anything I can do better? Like, would you like, me to send you more memes? Would you like me to call you more? Like, what can I do to support you? Would you like me to send you, letters in the mail? Very early on, we initiated these like end of the week, like reviews, like catch-ups, if you will. And now that we live together, we continue to implement that. At the end of the week or at the end of every other day or so, we just check in on each other. Are you feeling supported by me? Do you feel loved by me? Is there anything that I'm doing that doesn't feel loving or supportive? Is there anything I've done that has frustrated you this week or anything I did that, maybe you didn't agree with? Or was there something that I slacked on this week? We just communicate. It does take a lot of emotional maturity to do that, but my God, when you do it, your relationships and your life is just so much better, just so much easier. Hey, if you're pissed off, let's talk about it. Let's work something out and just move on from it. I don't want you to be pissed off at me. I don't want you to be angry. I don't want you to be stuck in this angry state. There's no point. Let's talk it out and be adults and just work it out. And I'm so grateful I have a partner that we can talk about things. Granted, I'm the yapper in the relationship, but if I get him, he can obviously talk and we can communicate, but I'm so grateful that I established that boundary and that this habit early on when we were long distance, because it's so important. Again, I think especially for long distance relationships, you have no option but to communicate. Communication is the glue that's holding you together because you're not physically together. Checking in on each other. And that goes for everything. The amount of people that speculate, I think my boyfriend's cheating on me, or I think my girlfriend is DMing some guy on Instagram, or I think there's so much assumption, not enough communication. Oh, are you assuming or are you asking? Are you communicating that with him? There's too much assumption and not enough communication that causes unnecessary fights in relationships. Well, I think he's cheating on me because he did this, and the third, and he had a weird tone the other day. Do you know that for a fact, or are you just assuming? Are you communicating that with him? And again, some people suck. Your boyfriend might be cheating on you, and he might be a liar, and he might be the worst. But if you at least attempt to communicate, you've at least done your part. That's all it is. So my advice to you is start communicating better with the people in your life. Check on your friends, check in with your significant other, talk a little bit more thoroughly with the people that you're dating or the people that you're working with or your family. It really boils down to that because a lot of it otherwise is going to be assumptions, he said, she said, tit for tat. It's going to be a lot of just miscommunication that leads to unhappy relationships. And we don't want that. Life is way too short to be arguing with people all the fucking time. Simply said, that's it. That's all I got. I could keep going, but I'm not going to. Thanks so much for listening. Be sure to follow Girl on the Internet podcast over on Instagram. It's fun. Come hang out. I do little reels and things all the time. Check the podcast out over on YouTube. Subscribe if you care. Girl on the Internet podcast on YouTube. We are doing a giveaway at 100 subscribers. Let's go. What are you waiting for? Bus Club, another club. Let's go. And if you care about me even a little bit, you'll leave a review or a rating on wherever you stream the podcast. And if you also love me, you would share this podcast with other people in your life. If you have a friend that's like, oh my gosh, I need a podcast recommendation, or I don't know, I just wish I had like a content creator that I could follow that's like down to earth and realistic and also works a real job and doesn't live this mass luxurious lifestyle and has a ton of lip filler and get ready with me to go drink matcha and do Pilates. Like, come on, don't hold out. Give that recommendation to people in your life. Be like, I know this one girl. She yaps a lot. She has a podcast, but like, she's kind of cool. Just hello, send them this. Like, hello, thank you. Love you the most. Anyways, thank you guys again so much for listening. It is so appreciated from the bottom of my heart. I am communicating that thanks with you. So I appreciate you and I hope you feel loved. And remember to go easy on yourself. And I will check in next week with a new episode of your favorite podcast, Girl on the Internet. Bye, guys.